Have you ever wondered how similar or different heaven and underworld are in Hinduism and Christianity? Well, you're about to find out. The concepts of heaven and underworld are fascinating, aren't they? These ideas resonate with us on a deep level, and they're found in many of the world's religions. They're places of reward or punishment, of eternal bliss or eternal torment, depending on how we've conducted ourselves in our earthly lives. But for this exploration, we will spotlight two religions, Hinduism and Christianity. Heaven and underworld in these two faiths are not just destinations for souls post-mortem, but they're also rich tapestries of beliefs, stories, and cultures that have evolved and been refined over centuries. Starting with Hinduism, one of the oldest religions in the world, the concepts of heaven or Swarga and underworld, known as Naraka, have roots in ancient scriptures called the Vedas. These realms are not seen as permanent in Hindu philosophy but are temporary stops on the soul's journey through cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. On the other hand, Christianity views heaven and hell as final destinations. Originating from the teachings of Jesus Christ, heaven is depicted as a place of eternal happiness and communion with God, while hell is a place of eternal separation from God's presence. Curiously, despite these differences, there are striking similarities as well. Both religions, for instance, see moral and ethical conduct during one's life as a determining factor for the soul's destination. But what's more intriguing is how these ancient beliefs intersect with modern science. Can these spiritual realms be explained or even proven scientifically? Or do they remain purely within the realm of faith? So, let's delve into the depths of these beliefs and try to understand their similarities and differences. Let's start our journey with the idea of heaven in both religions. In Hinduism, heaven, known as Swarga, is depicted as a place of profound harmony and bliss, where souls experience peace and fulfillment. This realm is not eternal but serves as a temporary respite for the soul, which is on a journey of self-realization. The path to Swarga is through righteous living, adherence to Dharma, and the accumulation of good karma. In contrast, Christian heaven is often conceived as an eternal dwelling place for the righteous. It is depicted as a city of gold where streets are paved with gold and the presence of God is directly experienced. In this place, all sorrows and pains are wiped away. The path to this heavenly realm is through faith in Jesus Christ and living a life aligned with His teachings. The purpose of heaven in both religions, however, is strikingly similar. Both serve as a place of rest and reward for the righteous. In Hinduism, this reward is temporary, serving as a pit stop in the soul's journey towards moksha or liberation. In Christianity, it is a permanent reward, an eternal dwelling place where believers are reunited with God. But there is also a stark difference in how they are reached. In Hinduism, the soul's journey to Swarga is determined by its karma, the sum total of its actions in this life and previous lives. In Christianity, it is the grace of God through faith in Jesus that allows believers to enter heaven. Even though they come from different religious backgrounds, you can see there are some intriguing similarities and differences between the two. The concept of heaven serves as a beacon of hope, a place of ultimate peace and joy, and a reward for righteous living in both religions. Yet, the path to these heavenly realms and the nature of the stay there, temporary in Hinduism and eternal in Christianity, showcase the diverse ways in which these religions understand the afterlife. Now that we've ascended to the heavens, let's descend into the underworld. In Hinduism, the underworld, called Naraka, is not a place of eternal damnation, but a temporary stop for souls to pay for their earthly misdeeds. It's a place where souls are purified through suffering, analogous to a cosmic correction facility. The length of one's stay varies. Depending on the karmic debt, and once paid, the soul is reincarnated back into the mortal world. The path to Naraka is paved by negative karma, accumulated by actions driven by greed, anger, and ignorance. In contrast, Christianity's concept of hell is a place of eternal torment, a fiery pit where souls are condemned for their sins. The road to hell, as per Christian belief, is a rejection of God's grace and a life lived in sin without repentance. It's a final destination, not a pit stop, and the idea of reincarnation is absent. Here, the purpose of hell is to serve as an eternal separation from God, a consequence for those who choose to live their lives apart from Him. While both Hinduism and Christianity share the concept of an underworld, the purpose, depiction, and path to these places differ significantly. Hinduism's Naraka is a temporary place of purification, a karmic tool for teaching and correcting the soul. On the other hand, Christianity's hell is an eternal and unchanging torment, a consequence of a life lived in sin and rejection of God. The underworld in both religions serves as a deterrent, a warning to the living to lead virtuous lives. Whether it is the temporary suffering of Naraka or the eternal torment of hell, the message is clear. Our actions in this life have serious implications for the next. It's fascinating to see how different cultures interpret the afterlife, isn't it? Now that we've explored the religious concepts, let's see what science has to say about all this. The scientific community, as you may expect, takes a different stance on the concepts of heaven and the underworld. The foundation of scientific thought is empirical evidence, which is the information received through the senses, particularly by observation and documentation of patterns and behavior through experimentation. When it comes to heaven and the underworld, there's a conspicuous absence of this kind of evidence. However, that's not to say that science is simply dismissive of these beliefs. Far from it. Science, particularly in the realms of psychology and sociology, has a great deal to say about why such beliefs persist and what functions they serve in our societies. Psychologists assert that the concept of heaven and the underworld can be seen as an extension of our cognitive bias. It's a part of our human nature to seek patterns, to create narratives, and to try and make sense of the world. We fear the unknown, and death, being the ultimate unknown, is a source of deep anxiety. The ideas of heaven and the underworld offer comforting narratives that help us cope with this existential fear. From a sociological perspective, these beliefs play a pivotal role in maintaining social order. The promise of a heavenly reward or the threat of an underworld punishment often serve as a sort of spiritual policing system, guiding individuals towards socially acceptable behavior. These beliefs also foster a sense of community and shared identity. They provide a common ground, a shared narrative that can unite people, offering a sense of belonging and mutual understanding. So it's clear that while science may not corroborate the literal existence of heaven and the underworld, it certainly acknowledges the profound psychological and sociological roles these beliefs play in human societies. So while science may not provide evidence for these beliefs, it doesn't dismiss their profound impact on human behavior and society. So what have we learned from our exploration of heaven and underworld in Hinduism and Christianity? Our journey has led us through the ethereal realms of heaven and the shadowy depths of the underworld, as envisioned by two major world religions, Hinduism and Christianity. In Hinduism, heaven or Svarga is a transient place of pleasure and virtue, where one enjoys the rewards of good karma, while the underworld, known as Naraka, is a temporary realm of suffering for expiation of sins. In contrast, Christianity's heaven is an eternal abode of joy and communion with God, and hell, the underworld, is a place of everlasting torment for the wicked. Yet beneath these differences, we found striking similarities. Both religions use these concepts as a moral compass, guiding followers towards virtuous actions and deterring them from sin. Both heaven and underworld, whether temporary or eternal, serve as the ultimate reward and punishment, instilling hope and fear respectively. Taking a turn towards the realm of science, we delved into the scientific opinion on these religious concepts. While science does not claim the existence of heaven or underworld, it does acknowledge the profound influence these beliefs have had on human behavior and societal norms. The notions of reward and punishment, hope and fear, have shaped cultures, laws, and human interactions throughout history. Moreover, scientific theories like multiverse and quantum physics have opened up possibilities of different realms of existence, though not exactly as religious texts describe. These theories, while not validating religious beliefs, have certainly sparked intriguing conversations about the nature of reality and existence. In conclusion, whether you're a believer or a skeptic, the concept of heaven and underworld, though varied in interpretation, serves a similar purpose in both Hinduism and Christianity. It provides a moral framework, a sense of hope and fear, and a way to understand the mysteries of life and death. Whether you believe in them or not, their influence on our world is undeniable.